Good morning, guys. Welcome back to another episode of AKP Sports Talk. That's RM Korea. I know we're back. Unfortunately, yesterday power went out, so I know I do have power today. But yesterday, unfortunately, just high wind, power went out, so we couldn't record a video. But that didn't mean we were gonna have some plays out for you. We did have a couple plays, one from each of us. Just going to do a quick recap of how that went for us yesterday. First, Ari, mine. Uh, it, it, Mine wasn't so much of a tough loss. It was just the Brewers couldn't get anything done over Zach Wheeler. It was a bad read. Look, I always hate backing teams when you don't really know who the starting pitching was for the other team. And, when this read, I was kind of more backing the Brewers bats. I thought they were going to make this a lot more competitive. But, you always have to look on who's on the other side. And, they didn't have a pitcher announced until it was so late. And, I saw it was Bryce Wilson getting a majority of those innings, and he was the one who caused most of the damage. And I said as soon as I would have known that it was Bryce Wilson probably going to be eating up a lot of those innings, I definitely would have probably laid off the Brewers plus 1.5. But it doesn't mean it wasn't close. Obviously, they lost by 2, so it's just a tough read. Their bats weren't alive. They went 5 for I think like 20 against Zach Wheeler. Zach Wheeler is kind of the definition of Mr. Automatic. He'll give you seven innings, maybe 1 run or no runs, at least 6 or 7 Ks. Just that consistency. He's at least going 6 innings almost every time, especially at a home start. So, I was just kind of backing the Brewers to maybe keep this close, depending on who the starting pitcher was. And, yes, we did have a Rhys Hoskins homer, but it was already 3-0 at that point. And then obviously, their offense just did not do anything. So, it was just a horrible read. I always hate taking these games where they don't announce who the pitcher is, or if there's like a late scratch in terms of the pitcher, that changes the whole read of the matchup. So it was just a bad read on my part. That's my bad. So that is unfortunate L for me. But Ari, I don't think your winner could have been more sweat free for you.
Yeah, it was the Reds. Basically, they're even money when I saw it. I think they were like maybe minus 120 or 125 by the time first pitch was. But yeah, Abbott pitched well, 6 innings, 3 runs, and that's all I needed when the Reds score 13 runs. Basically they had like 5 guys, I think, with 2+ hits. I think they had like 3 or 4 guys with 2+ RBIs. So yeah, it's just a course field masterclass, by the Reds offense, which I expected against Feltner, I believe it was on the mat. Yeah, Feltner. So yeah, pretty. Rockies went up 1-0 in the first inning, and then it was all Reds the rest of the way.
Yeah, I saw that Elly De La Cruz, I think, had a 2-run double. It was just bats galore for the Reds. So, just kind of our favorite system, just, back in the offense at Coors Field, and that was, with the Reds, better offense, obviously, and we talk about the pitching matchup, Andrew Abbott, he didn't have to do much. Obviously, he got, beat up a little bit, but, that was more kind of near the beginning half. And obviously the game kind of opened up, when the bullpens came in, because Rockies dead last in bullpen ERA. So, that kind of just precedents, maybe taking Reds money line, maybe throughout this series, if they're at a good price, maybe an option for us. But, 1-on-1 day, unfortunate to start out our week and our month of June, but we're going to obviously continue into today. We got some best bets for you. A couple of them from my side, going back to the run lines. And, I know. Why are we going back to the run lines? I'll explain. First, we're taking the Pittsburgh Pirates today. We're taking them plus 1.5. And I know everyone's going to be loading up Dodgers money line in their parlays. They're going to be loading up Dodgers first 5 money line, Dodgers money line, whatever, Dodgers anything. It's going to be Dodgers anything because they see Tyler Glasnow and they don't know who the other guy is. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, that's going to lose you some money. Pirates at home, obviously one of the better systems. One, they do play a lot better at home. And 2, we look at Tyler Glasnow, we talked about this, I believe, his last start. As a member of the Dodgers, he has not had the greatest track record in terms of his starts. He has had some good games, but then some shaky games. And I believe the Dodgers, I saw a stat that I think they were like 1 in, I think, 4 in like the last 5 Tyler Glasnow starts. So, maybe their offense just doesn't show up. And I'm kind of just backing, Pittsburgh to kind of hang it close with these, obviously these NL pennant favorites. The Pittsburgh Pirates, they do kind of lean on their pitching staff. When they do need to lean on them, they do lean to this guy, Jerry Jones. I say he's one of the better pitchers behind Paul Skeens in that rotation. He definitely is a dependable righty. This, I believe, is the first time he's facing this Dodgers lineup, and obviously the Dodgers lineup is the most intimidating lineup, one of in baseball. But I am just kind of backing the fact that he's definitely going to make this interesting. Obviously, I don't really like backing the Pirates just because their bullpen and how many games I've seen the Pirates bullpen just blow this game open. But I'm kind of backing the fact that Jerry Jones is going to have a solid day, not really needing much of the bullpen. We're hoping for at least 6 or 7 innings here, so we can maybe, hopefully not have to have a complete debacle, whatever happens in the 8th or ninth. Just kind of maybe hoping Pittsburgh, keeps us close, and then also backing their offense at home. Obviously, it's not the strongest lineup, but when they do hit the ball, they can hit the ball well. They have guys like obviously O'Neal Cruz. We don't really talk about outside of Ellie De La Cruz, the other shortstop in Pittsburgh, who's hitting the ball really well. Andrew McCutcheon's still one of their bigger stars. We always talk about how Brian Reynolds one of the more consistent bats for this Pirates team. Keep Brian Hayes finally emerging at the third base position. I really do like the Pirates to cover here. We're getting it at a good price, about even money. I'm just kind of mostly backing Jerry Jones at home, and the fact that the Pirates, they do play better at home. And Tyler Glasnow, even though he's one of the better pitchers in baseball, he does tend to struggle, in these road spots, especially against maybe an unfamiliar lineup like the Pittsburgh Pirates, who can maybe catch on to his pitches over time. So I'm taking the Pirates here to cover the run line at +1.5. You're getting that at even money. And then we're going to go to another team that's going to cover the run line today, and we're taking the Red Sox here +1.5. We're getting that at about -115. The only reason we're taking them at home is because of matchup as well. They're obviously playing the Braves. I think the last time they played the Braves was not even that long ago, and that was a really intriguing series down in Atlanta. But now it's up in Boston. Obviously, in the matchup today, we got Max Fried on the mound for the Braves and Cutter Crawford for the Red Sox. I'm mostly backing the fact that the Braves, right now, I'm going to keep backing these teams, who can really pitch well against the Braves because the Braves lost one of their best stars, obviously, in Ronald Acuna, and I feel like that's just such a hard asked to replace immediately in terms of what he brings to the table, and we've seen kind of the Braves offense kind of sputter a little bit ever since, his absence. They haven't really had one of those games where they look dominant as, whether it was last year or earlier or a little bit earlier this year. They haven't really had a game where they look completely dominant like a Dodgers or a Yankees or a Phillies where they just dominate on both ends. Their hitting has kind of been one of the more lackluster things, even though even though I will say they are missing Acuna. They still have Ozuna and they still have Harris, which is definitely dangerous, but they don't really know how to hit righties well. And that's kind of the one thing that's one caveat for the Braves, that they don't hit righties as well as lefties. Cutter Crawford at home is one of the better righties in that rotation for the Boston Red Sox. So we're just backing them to cover the +1.5 run line at -115. Even with all the Braves bats, their pitching has been pretty decent. It hasn't been excellent as we know it has been in the past. Obviously, we saw that. I think Jeff Passan tweeted that the Braves are looking to add some pitching maybe toward the trade deadline. So maybe cooling into what they need. But, with Max Fried on the mound, he's usually the more dependable guy in that rotation. So I'm just kind of happy. I'm not really backing the Red Sox on the money line. I don't really like them, I don't really know how they do in terms of their bats. I'm more backing the fact that they keep this close. So I'm backing the +1.5 at -115. Just mostly backing Cutter Crawford at home against the Braves team that struggles to hit righties. With losing Ronald Acuna for the season, they're still figuring out their offense. I don't think their offense has scored more than 4 or 5 runs since Acuna left. And obviously, they haven't been playing the top talent, but at the same time they've still been playing some pretty decent imposing pitchers to where that you would think that their offense would show up. It doesn't show up at sometimes, and sometimes it does. So I'm just going to be taking here the +1.5. We talk about that one game in that series against the A's where they put up 9 runs. Well, that was because it's Aaron Brooks, and I'm not really taking anything Oakland seriously. And then we look at that whole series where they lost. I know they lost a series to the Nationals, which is already shocking to me. They lost 3 out of 4 at home, couldn't get any offense going. this offense has not scored more runs once, obviously, since that June 1st game. And, they've kind of been sputtering, trying to figure themselves out. I'm still kind of backing themselves to figure themselves out. So we're going to be taking the Red Sox here, +1.5. We're getting that for a good price, about -115. So those are my 2 plays today, taking the Pirates +1.5 and the Red Sox +1.5. About even money for the Pirates, and then -115 for the Red Sox. Ari, those are my 2 plays. What are your 2 plays or other plays for today?
Yeah, I have 2 plays. One, we're going back to it. I think I'm 0-2, so hopefully third time's the charm. George Kirby, hopefully he didn't have the best May. He ended it with a strong start against the Astros. I think 6 innings, 1 run, but still had like a 4 or 5, something like that ERA overall in the month of May. So hopefully this start will get him on track for a strong month of June. Mariners playing in Oakland tonight. Hopefully it's as easy as not 9 down, but obviously it's just no run. So, a couple hits could be fine, obviously, but just looking for 3 scoreless innings and not much more to it than, I thought that the line was going to be like -110, something like that, like Kirby in a low total against Oakland. I thought sometimes like in low totals, I've seen team total the first 3 under a half is even like, not plus minus, like -105, -110. So just sitting at +114, I figured the value's worth it for just 3 scoreless from Kirby against Oakland to, for the most part, they've been better than most people expected, obviously, more so early in the year. They're kind of coming back down to earth a little bit now, compared to what most expected. So just hoping at least for 3 scoreless, obviously, hopefully more than 3 scoreless for Kirby, but just for this purpose of this bet, 3 scoreless. And then going to the Padres on the money line, they have a guy making his MLB debut, Adam Mazur, not sure how you pronounce it. But this is really just fading Patrick Sandoval and not believing that the Angels win 2 in a row over the Padres. The Angels won game 1 of the series last night. I think it was 2-1. They scored in the 8th inning to break a 1-1 tie. So this is mostly just backing the bats for the Padres. And I was looking at like a team total for the Padres for potential like first 5, but nothing really stood out to me. Like it was like -150 for over 1.5 or over 2.5 in the first 5. So at that point, I just figured I'd just back them overall on the money line. I don't know that much about the pitcher other than like his numbers, in the minors that haven't been that bad. Obviously, that only means so much. Obviously, when you're making your MLB debut, so I can't really like put too much into that. But it's not like the Angels lineup overall is that much of a worry either. They have some spurts of being good this year, but overall, just this play is just fading Patrick Sandoval and backing the Padres bats to bounce back after scoring just 1 run in game 1 last night.
Ari, I saw that first 3 team total, and I was like, oh no, here we go again. But obviously, obviously we do hope a little more personal. We do hope this does cash for you, obviously, because we obviously mentioned the Mariners going down to Oakland for this series starting today, and you mentioned George Kirby on the mound. He has had a little bit of a rough start to things, but you mentioned in his last start against Houston, kind of starting to get back to his 2023 form, just pretty much dialed, going 6-7 innings, not really allowing too many base runners. And I think against this Oakland A's lineup that has calmed down per se, has come back down to earth a little bit. I do like this first 3 team total here under half a run, kind of George Kirby just getting through that first initial lineup here, without too many problems. Hopefully you're getting a good price here. I've seen it, for other games, we've seen that +140. We're getting it at around almost +114. So almost even money, pretty much saying that George Kirby maybe starts off this game on a hot note, as he usually kind of does. So I do like that A's first 3 team total under half a run, just kind of backing George Kirby to get through that lineup one time without any runs crossing the plate. So I love that for you. And then the Padres money line. Look, I love fading the Angels anyway, shape, or form right now. They're one of the worst teams in baseball right now. Just coming off of that series from the Mariners, they just looked like a complete shell of themselves. They have no offense right now, as you mentioned, as they got shut out by Seattle all 3 times, in terms of the starting pitching. And, even though we have a starting pitcher making his debut, you're just kind of backing the Padres bats, and I do love that against Patrick Sandoval at home. I do back the Padres not to lose back to back games here, especially in this kind of crucial part of their season where they're in a position where they need to at least win some more games to kind of be in that position to really make some trades and make some moves to be a contender, especially in that NL West where it is getting pretty tight. Near the top. So I do love the Padres money line for you. You're getting it at about minus 105. Even though we don't really know who's starting for the Padres in terms of his MLB status and making his MLB debut. We're just backing the bats here, so I do like the team total as well in terms of an alternate play. But just backing the better team here, to win this game. So I love that play for you with the Padres, and then the A's team total first three under half a run. Again, at a plus 114. Those are always two plays going back to mine. Just backing both teams on the run line. Full game with the Pirates and Red Sox. Pirates at about even money. Red Sox at about minus 115. Obviously, you can find all of these plays and this video below on our Twitter below, AKP Sports Talk. You can find our full card and our Twitter, and our full video, down below. But that's going to do it for this episode of AKP Sports Talk. That's Ari. I'm Korea. I know. Where are the NBA picks? Where are the NBA Finals picks? I know. Don't worry. The NBA Finals are on Thursday. Okay, tomorrow, right? Tomorrow we're gonna have some potential player props, maybe seeing what's going on because obviously the lines have been out for a whole week now, so we always know that the player totals and whatnot have been pretty much adjusted, in terms of how sharp they are. So we may take a look at those. Obviously, taking a look at Game 1, obviously, which is on Thursday. We'll be digging into that as well, and obviously we do have some regional action. Super regional action now in terms of college baseball, and obviously moving past the regional round, getting to a more exciting time in college baseball. We're just talking about some more sports. We're going to give you some more bets, but that's going to do it for this episode. We will be back tomorrow. Don't worry. That's Ari. I'm Korea. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Win some money, and we'll see you tomorrow.